Hello and happy Tuesday to everyone that might watch this, and happy day to all the other people who watch this at a different time in the future. I'm Derek Jameson, and this message came through so strongly this morning. Normally I don't let anything get in the way of my morning shake and coffee and spiritual tune-ups. I haven't even toned or read any cards this morning, but it was like, nope, make the video. And as you can see, I'm wearing a hat because my hair looks like something special. So I'm not going to let you see that. Now, as the video suggests, we are talking about reptilian consciousness. And this is a subject matter that confuses so many people. I get messages on Instagram or in the inbox or from other spiritual friends that have a lot of confusion surrounding the reptilian consciousness and what it means, because they hear so many negative stories or expressions of what the reptilian consciousness is. Now, the first thing I want to remind everybody or suggest to you all is that you understand that there's polarity in all things. And many people understand that now. Just to make this really simple, it's like there's hot and cold. There's hard and soft. There's masculine and feminine. It's not like either or, right? So what I want you to understand is that within all things, there are polarity energies within it. And sometimes in other realities, there is extreme polarity and then there's not. For example, human beings, we live in an extremely polarized reality that we co-create with, that we coexist in. And that's why we can see really dark and heavy things, and then we can see the most beautiful and light and expansive things. It's because we really live in such a polarized reality. But that said, you are able to choose where you want to be on that polarized scale. You can choose to be extremely light and just live in this light bubble, or you can choose to play into the dark games and the dark timelines that we know exist on the planet. Now, what we're talking about today is an understanding from a personal experience about reptilian consciousness. Now, I know some people that might watch this, it's going to go over their head, and if it does, that's totally okay. This is information for the people that are tuned into what else is happening in the universe. So if this isn't something for you, extraterrestrial consciousness and things like that, you might want to pass on, or just take whatever you hear as a suggestion to what might be possible. So when it comes to reptilian consciousness, I want to kind of touch on the fact that I have always, and this is going to sound funny, but always been really connected to dinosaurs, and some of you feel the same, right? Dinosaurs and other reptilian type of creatures. So like, I'm always fascinated by snakes. I literally have a golden alligator that her name is Diana, and she's down there. Side note, I took her as a prop to a birthday party for the show Vanderpump Rules. And there's a specific episode for a birthday party where you could see me carrying her around, and the birthday girl actually took her. But that's how special this beautiful thing is. And she is down below you now. And I just have this propensity towards it, and people buy me things. So I have a golden head of a triceratops on my wall over there. It's just something I've really been connected to, right? And it's interesting because we can see that the things that we've had a natural propensity towards in our life actually are giving us indicators or messages about something that is deeper than just the physical or material facade of it. And it's up to us to pay attention and notice those signs and signals. However, what I do believe is that when we fully awaken, or we come into that space of awareness, we can see those things more clearly now. And then it's like all the things that you've ever experienced in your life all accumulated to this space right now, and this understanding that you have at this moment. Okay, so I've always had this kind of energetic connection with reptilian things. It's the same way with ancient Egyptian things. I've had really deep connections with it where I get emotionally involved, right? And that might sound silly to some, but I can't help it. And some of you know what I'm talking about. So when it comes to reptilian consciousness, that consciousness has always been an influence on me. Now, when I say that consciousness, I want you to understand that it is not the negative, polarized expression of the reptilian consciousness, okay? I'm not here to manipulate or control people to believing or doing certain things, right? That's not what I'm doing. I'm here to help uplift. Well, there's reptilian consciousness that is here assisting the planet and influencing their humans to bring higher light into the planet. Just because there is a reptilian being doesn't mean it is a negative entity, okay? So what's coming to my head now is that there's also relocations. So I have a few different guides who are extraterrestrial, and what they do is they can be originally from a place, but they can relocate or exist in another star system, if that makes sense. Okay? So like I have an Anunnaki guide, or multiple, but I have an Anunnaki guide, but they relocated to Arcturus. So they can exist in a different space. Remember that everything is vibrational frequency. Okay? So it matters on the frequency that they're vibrating on, not necessarily the location. Okay? Because there are different dimensions of those places, just like there's different dimensions of where we're sitting right now or where I'm sitting right now. And sometimes we can peer into those different dimensions, okay, based off of vibration and frequency. So with all things, there is vibrational frequency that resonates and is differentiating what we have connection to. And that's how this is working, okay? So that was just a little side touch on how a being how they can relocate to another place, exist in another place, but still be a reptilian, let's say. So when I first started seeing reptilian beings coming to me, there were a lot of them. And I remember one night specifically, it started with an eye, and I would see this gorgeous, like beautiful eye with the slit, and there were scales around it, and that's all they would show me at first. Because they also don't want to freak me out. When we hear so many stories of negative timelines regarding reptilians, it's easy for us to get scared, right? And so if we have reptilian guides and they start making contact, and you have fear around it because of this idea that's been created, well, they don't want to freak you out. You know, they're not here to hurt you. They're a part of you, right? And so when I first started seeing them, they were showing me pieces of them. And then eventually it would move to the head, and they would rotate their head around so I could see the actual makeup. But when I get the really clear visions, the really clear projections, it's like beautiful reptilian beings, right? But they're not here to hurt me. They're not here to negatively influence me. They're actually here so that I can be able to instill the light vibration or the positive polarity of the reptilian consciousness, all right? So it's very important to understand that there are polarized negative and positive entities in all kinds of realities, including this one, which shows very clearly, right? So now we can touch a little bit on the negative polarity. Yes, there is a negative polarized expression of the reptilian consciousness, which has an influence over the people that we look up to for leadership or celebrity. Sometimes, not all. Listen, not all. We cannot lump everything into a box. We can't lump everything into one labeled thing, right? That would be like me saying that you are only this one thing and that's all you are. You know, and then being like, yep, that's that. No, we have to understand that there are all shades of things, okay? So we don't want to sit there and lump things into categories, but anytime you see negative activities, ego-driven acts, or things that don't feel good and that have dark energy behind them, well, that is a person that is influenced by these darker forces. And yes, they are there. Now, it's very important that you understand that it doesn't matter so much that they're there. It matters what you want to tune into. What I have been seeing a lot of since 2020 really struck us in the face is that people are awakening to what other people are calling conspiracy theories, or they're awakening to what the dark consciousness is and does on the planet. And we're talking about that really dark stuff that people started finding out and sharing, and that other people who may be still asleep to it don't want to face. They don't want to look at it. They don't want to face it. They don't want to even know that it's possible. But people who are awakened and aware, we see that it's possible. And many of us are aware to that because we've had similar experiences in our own lives that validate that. But other people that haven't had those can't necessarily correlate those two things. And that's okay. Maybe they're not supposed to right now. Maybe you are supposed to, and you're supposed to live in that, and you're supposed to make change. Okay, that's the important part of all of this. It doesn't matter if something is this or that, or this and that. It matters what you do with it. And if you are getting information on negative polarized reptilian consciousness, let's say, and you feed into it, and you go down that hole, and you keep peering, and you keep looking, and you keep doing, well, guess what? That consciousness has won exactly what it wanted to do. Just because you're aware of it doesn't mean you have control over it. Because what happens is people are getting way too involved in that dark energy to find more and dig and dig and dig. And then what happens, they're so far down a hole of this darkness in the world and out there that they sit there and can't find a way out. They cannot see a light out. They only see this darkness and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. Well, guess what? The only way that we're going to change any of that is by being it ourselves, right? Doing the inner work. Don't forget that part, is that it's not about that dark stuff that's happening. It's about you being able to be aware of it and knowing that you can shift it and change it within you. And this is very, very important. It isn't about all that stuff. However, it is very beautiful that you are aware of it and that it draws an emotional reaction and that you want to take action, you want to do something. But that's what it's there for. It is simply there for you to be aware of it, to observe it, to see clearly, 2020, and then for you to choose from there how you are going to shift the spaces within you that are going to express and expand your life. Because when that happens, that's going to change. When that happens, you tune into the positive polarity of reptilian consciousness, not the negative one. Because it doesn't serve you or it doesn't serve anybody to be down in a dark hole with reptilian consciousness and all the dark things that happen on the planet. Yes, there are satanic forces. Yes, there's child trafficking that's been happening for so long. There's really dark stuff out there. But if it dims your light and it contracts your energy, how can you expand it and make change through that light? You can't. You're just dark in a dark hole. You're just huddled down. What happens is you attract more of that energy because you're being that energy. When you tune into a frequency and it is a negative frequency, you are a magnet for more of that negativity. Nightmares, fear, worry, that's all you can see in your reality is the dark stuff because you become a magnet, because you become the thing, because you've tuned into the frequency of it. Okay? Now, knowing that you can tune into the frequency of that, you can tune into the frequency of the higher versions of it. What is on the opposite and equal side? That's what you can tune into. It's not about all of that stuff. Okay? So tune into the vibrations that you want to see. There are negative and positive polarities. What do you want to tune into? Does it feel good to tune into the darker energies and the darker stuff? No, it doesn't. And the only way that you're going to break that game and break that part of that matrix is that you sit there and you focus on what you're going to create and how you're going to make change within you so that you can make change with that in the world. Okay? There's nothing to be afraid of with reptilian consciousness. Nothing. I have had guides that I've channeled that are reptilian. Like we're even looking at Sobek. When Sobek channels with me or connects with me, that's a reptilian right there. But it's all about helping humanity. I have a reptilian guide who's a king. I've had people come from, I have had Anunnaki, I've had Draco, like I've had different entities come to me that are me. And they're here to help the planet. In my regressions, when I've done them, I've had multiple regressions see themselves as reptilians. They weren't fully ready to see that, but they did end up seeing themselves as a reptilian, and they saw that they were doing things for exploration and expansion, that there was nothing to be afraid of. And that can be disconcerting for some, seeing themselves, because they have a preconceived notion of what a reptilian being is and what reptilian consciousness is. And some channelers do channel information that brings in that dark energy. Some channelers bring in the light energy. And I know what my position is in here. It's to bring forward the aspects of reptilian consciousness that are constructive, powerful, and making change. To remind those who are awakening into their own power that everything is where you place your frequency. If you want to tune into the lower vibrational aspects of reptilian consciousness, control, manipulation, all of that stuff, you can. If you want to tune into the light, expansive exploration, unfolding, beautiful, seeing and meeting your own reptilian counterparts, you can. It's all there for you. Remember that we've had all kinds of experiences to be at this current juncture that we're at now. You had to be all of these other things, experience all of these other polarities in order to be in this beautiful state we're in now. You've already had these experiences. So remember to always be conscious. Always remember to go, how does this feel? How does this information feel? Because I remember when I was watching a specific channeler, and she would channel Pleiadian beings, and she would bring forward this really fear-inducing information about reptilian consciousness and Anunnaki. But I was glued to it. This was at the beginning. I was glued to it. I was like, but it created so much fear around me, because I was like, wait, what do these beings want to do? But when I look at it, I'm like, wait, I'm fine. We're good. We create. We're all here together. The light outweighs any dark energy, and that small sliver of darkness is there so it can help us make choices in order to create the world we want. And there's so many beings and interdimensionals that are stepping through at this time, and that are going to be stepping through. And everything that needs to be tied up in 2020 is going to be tied up. It's going to be forced in our face so that we can be able to see the mirror of it and clear it. And that is up to you. That is up to you. This whole idea of the 3-dimensional, 5th-dimensional, all of this shift, well, you already have the 5th-dimensional vibration within you and any frequency related to it. It's about whether or not you place yourself on that bar in order to vibrate with it. You already have the frequency within you, or else you wouldn't be listening to this. So tune yourself into those higher dimensions, those higher vibrations, tuning yourself into love, breathing into your heart, doing things that uplift you, letting go of things that don't, sending love and integrating your shadow side. You can use tools of light if you want to. Every single morning, as I stated at the beginning, I read cards. I do 3 dragon card pulls, these ones right here, to see like what the energy is of the day. But not only that, it's to make definite connection with my own higher guidance, my angels, my guides, all the beings that step forward to work with me, that are here with us now. And I'm able to get the energy and look forward to what beautiful things are going to come from the day. I don't need cards to do that, But it's really beautiful to have specific messages come through and tune into spirit in the first thing I do. Because what am I doing? I'm tuning into the frequency I want to experience. And then the day is always beautiful. And then even if there's contrasting moments throughout the day, I am able to sit there and see it for what it's teaching me and not what it is taking from me. So if you want to be in those fifth dimensional vibrations of what we believe reptilian consciousness to be, it's important that you understand that you're in control of that. You're in control. You can either tune into the fear vibrations of what you think reptilian consciousness is based off of what information some people are bringing forward, or you can tune into the light aspects of it. It's all about awareness. Yes, there is dark consciousness on this planet that influences the games and the dark acts that you see. You are just supposed to be aware of it and ask yourself where you want to go from there, how you want to make change, what it means to you. But you are not supposed to get entangled with any of it. The entanglement keeps you wrapped into the game. It keeps you locked in where you can't see anything else. So remember your own personal power, your mastery. Remember what you're here to do, and remember to tune yourself into the highest aspects of any experience that you see or that you see out in the world. Anything outside of you is just something to teach you something about you. And when you learn that teaching, you integrate it as wisdom, and then you act. All right? So I hope that helped bring some clarity to reptilian consciousness as an energy and seeing both sides of the coin. It's not supposed to be this or that. It's this and that. It's all about where you set your bar. Okay? Now, there are plenty of books out there that you can read. There's YouTube's videos that talk about reptilian consciousness. Just make sure that when you watch those things or listen to it, that it resonates with you in your body. If it's bringing fear forward from you, then it's time to reroute that energy. If something brings fear for you, that's not going to be for everybody. Some people can watch that and they're not going to have fear inspiration. But if it is for you, it's telling you that's an illusion for you. Move into a different space, tune into a different vibration. All right? So I hope that explains some things for people. Please leave comments, reach out. I love to talk about this stuff. There's nothing more I like to talk about than interdimensional play. And I love the beautiful people that I'm attracting into my life when we're being able to discuss the truths of what's really going on out there. I thank you so much. This is Derek Jameson. I hope you subscribe and I hope you engage. All right, thank you.